if you see me like swatting around, it's because there's a gnat in here somewhere. We've had a gnat
Not
problem
karate
at my house. No, not practicing karate, but if I can like karate chop the gnat midair, amazing. Sign me up. I'll star in the next Karate Kid movie.
The karate 33-year-old.
Right, yeah, exactly. We've had a gnat problem, so it unfortunately also for me it smells like vinegar in our house because I've made a little gnat trap, a little vinegar, dish soap, and sugar, and they like that stuff. So I hate the smell of vinegar. I don't.
Nobody
like it
loves it
at all. It's bad. It's so bad. I don't know why it exists. Just change vinegar. That's what they should do.
I don't think any scientist has that on their radar. I like the smell of vinegar because it makes me think of dyeing Easter eggs. That's what you drop the little dye tablet in. I don't know why that. I'm not a chemist. I'm just an enjoyer of eggs and colors. Favorite color,
Speaking
pink.
of,
favorite egg.
Yeah. I was going to say, speaking of enjoying colors, I have the Mountain Dew VooDew mystery flavor for 2023.
Ooh.
I have to pull up the website here because we had the flavor last year when they did this here, Mountain Dew VooDew.
We did some sort of mystery flavor earlier this year. What was that one? A Fanta?
No, but there is something with Fanta that I do want to talk about a little bit.
Oh my God, Fanta news?
Kind of. Let's see here. Okay, so I need to look up the one from last year. What was 2022? So 2022, last year, Mountain Dew's flavor was, let's see, according to the Dew Wikipedia, to be sour candy flavor.
I remember that.
Kind of like a generic sour candy. But yeah, so I have the flavor from this year, 2023. It is out now. You guys can go get it in stores. I've actually had a few of these already because I bought a 12-pack thinking that that's what I would have on the show. And then I was like, oh, but I want to like have Melissa see what color it is and stuff like that. So I bought this one specifically so you could see that it is white.
You could have bought a can and poured it into a clear glass.
I could have. I didn't think about that. But
thank you for letting me see the Mountain Dew. I can see it in its natural habitat in the wild.
Absolutely.
I like the wrapper design. It's very pink.
Yeah, it's like pink and blue, like a magenta and cyan kind of stuff.
The Dew in the logo is red, but the mitten it's pink. I've never seen it be pink before.
Yeah, it had some lime green in there too, some purple. I always really like the artwork for the Voodoo ones here, but yeah, so I've had a couple of these now. I'm trying to decide what I think the flavor is, and I'll do the same thing that I did last year, that I'm having one right now, and then I'll have another one when they reveal what the flavor is. But I'm trying to decide what I think this flavor is.
Thrilling.
And I don't know, I'm kind of disappointed in the flavor. I think it's like almost that? Let's put it this way. I like the flavor. It tastes good. It tastes like sour candy again.
It doesn't taste like a Clue.
Yeah, no. It's just it's kind of disappointing that they didn't go in a different direction. It's like, oh, if it's not sour candy, maybe this is fruity candy, right? It's just like, what's the
taffy,
right? Yeah.
How different does a soda taste from another soda? You're drinking all of these. Is one of them truly wildly, distinctly in like the general fruit family? Of course, if you hold up a Sprite and you hold up a Coke, those taste very different. But if it do multi-fruit sodas, like an orange is different than a grape, but if you've got obviously, like a fruit punch and then you've got like a berry lemonade, can you?
I can tell the difference between those. Sometimes like tropical punch and fruit punch err on the side of they're too similar. Right? But
what are those differences? Right. See, this is what I'm talking about. Like there's a couple recognizable flavor categories, but when they're getting so specific in this mystery flavor realm where it has to be a flavor that they don't already have out there, like a berry lemonade or a kiwi strawberry or whatever. How does one to the next like taste super different? If it's 10 things smushed together, how do you know next year when you're like, this is a different 10 things? There's probably an overlap of like 6 or 7 things in there.
This doesn't have to be like a new flavor. So like it's a mystery flavor. It could be like cherry. Right? Here's a cherry flavored soda, right?
It's regular. Surprise. You guys have really been disrespecting regular. You want all these fancy flavors? Like, don't forget where you came from. Don't look farther than your own backyard. This is
original
Kansas
formula
flavored Mountain Dew.
Yeah. Ooh, this is Mountain Dew that tastes like a soda fountain from a fast food restaurant. Distinct from Mountain Dew in a can.
Oh my God. This is your future as like you're going to be the Paul Giamatti of Mountain Dews. Paul Giamatti and Sideways. Right, you have to and I'm the Thomas Hayden Church where I'm like, yep, it's good. Look at it.
Smash your nose in there. Really get your nose in there and smell it, right? Oxidize it. Make sure all the flavors and the notes can come out. But yeah, I like all the varietals of Mountain Dew. No, but like I'm kind of disappointed in whatever this flavor is, because especially now having had so many craft sodas here on the show, of like, here's some random soda that I bought from Pops. I've had stuff like a caramel apple soda.
Yes,
that was like, this is amazing. And I think one year they did like a candy corn flavored Mountain Dew or something like that. But like I would want them to do like a pumpkin flavored, like a blood orange, just like do different things that they wouldn't necessarily normally do. Like I don't think I would enjoy the candy corn.
Right. The point of the mystery flavor isn't to enjoy it.
Right.
Yes. It's to puzzle over it. For you to taste it and figure out, what is that? That doesn't come in soda form. What's in my mouth?
Exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 252 of the Whatnauts Captain's Log, where every week we thirst for the taste of legend. My name is Kyle Springer. I am joined by Melissa Wilkinson. Melissa, how are you?
I'm doing okay. Just had like a bad sinus thing last week. Might still cough a lot, but I'm all right. Just laid around, watched a lot of movies. A lot of gnarly adult man movies.
That's fun, right? Is that
for
like
me.
your equivalent of like you get to stay home from school and watch Scooby-Doo on Cartoon Network all day like we used to when we were a kid? It's like I get to like just stay at home and watch a bunch of adult man movies, whatever that means.
This is literally what happened. I very, very rarely take time off from work, but I felt like so so cruddy last Thursday. I did take the day off work. I took a long nap. I ordered me some like real ramen ass ramen with like the egg in there and the bamboo shoots and everything and the little pork rounds. Incredible. Perfect time. I'd been saving it. There's lots of times where I'm like, I know that ramen place around here is good, but I'm not in a ramen mood. It has to be like the dead of winter or I'm sick or something for me to crave a soup because I'm not a soup lady. And that was the time. I had a ramen and I watched 7.
Oh, yeah. Okay. There you go.
I'd never seen it. Blank Check, my favorite film podcast, is doing a series on David Fincher. I know 7 is like his major calling card movie. I'm like, maybe I should see this or at least start it. I don't know if I'll finish it because it sounds just so dark and grim and gross. So I'm sitting there with this miserable head cold with my big ramen. It's the middle of the day. It's sunny. I'm like, let me casually throw on 7 now. If I sit down and seriously try to watch it, that's too much. Let me just, it happens to be on. I'll throw it on so casually will I attempt to watch 7. And then it'll sort of, there's like a barrier between me and the nastiness of 7. I watched the whole thing. I didn't know if I would. I felt like I get some sort of merit badge when you like watch a whole movie that's nastier than you thought you could complete. Watched 7. I'm gonna get a little badge and sew it on my sash.
Have you seen
7?
Film. I actually don't. I have not seen 7. I like David Fincher. I think he often does just a phenomenal job of building a tense atmosphere, like where you think just something is looming over. He just does phenomenal at that. But no, I have not seen 7. So
it's watchable. If I do it, if I can do it, you can do it. Anyone may let the entirety of 7 play out in front of their eyes.
Good stuff. What else have you been watching? What else have you been up to in your like fever pitch of movie watching here?
Earlier last week, I was surfing through Netflix. It was a kind of a gloomy night. So I'm like, this is time for something spooky. I want a horror movie. I'm going through Netflix. Vivarium is on there now.
Yep. There you go.
I'm like, this is happening immediately. So I made my roommate watch Vivarium with me.
What did she think?
She's not into horror movies. So I thought this is a pretty good one because it's weird. It's big time weird, but it isn't like violent. Like there's not blood or anything. It's not scary. She was so freaked out.
It's a wild movie. And like it really like it's just baffling in plot and premise and the way it's filmed.
That's what
and
I love.
And that's what's scary about it. Is it just the whole thing is just, what am I watching? What is going on?
That's my favorite kind. She's like like behind a blanket, and I'm sitting there like pounding my fists on my knees, like yes.
You're the sicko.
Exactly.
Just, yes. Yes.
So many of our film experiences. Every time I put something on that I want to show her, or she just walks in while I'm watching something, that's exactly what we are. I didn't realize I've entered into the sicko mode part of my life with all the films that I watch. Yeah.
Oh man. So I've mentioned this movie on the show before, but it was so long ago. Melissa, if you like the movies that are just kind of, what the fuck am I even watching? Go watch Forgotten on Netflix. It's a Korean movie from 2017.
Okay.
I checked it out originally a few years ago because there's an actor in that I liked in another Korean show, and I was like, oh, this looks kind of like a crime show with like a dark, maybe horror twist. That movie goes places that I was not expecting.
Places are my favorite place to go.
I like at one point I feel like it's a comedy. At one point I feel like it's a crime movie. At one point I feel like it's a horror movie. At one point, and it goes back and forth between all these things, and I'm just like, what is happening? What is going on? So I think you would like that one. So put that on your radar.
I thank you you have mentioned this before. Thank you for reminding me of the title, Forgotten. Hopefully I do not forget it. Forgotten is not necessarily the most memorable title.
Yeah. I don't even think it's that good of a movie. But
it's the ride.
Right. Yeah. It's the ups and downs, the highs and lows, the moments you are genuinely scared because like they do a good job. And then the next scene after that, complete tonal shift. The scene is like they just didn't know what to do with this scene, huh? And it's awkward. And it's like, this is kind of a bad movie, but I like it. It's interesting.
My favorite type of movie is ride. My favorite type of ride is movie. My favorite type of egg is egg. Grade A large. I also watched Martin Scorsese's Gangs of New York in preparation for Killers of the Flower Moon. I want to watch every Scorsese DiCaprio team up. Another movie opens on like a big, like nasty street brawl. I'm sitting there pounding my fists. I'm having a grand old time. It looks beautiful. They're playing like fife and drum music. John C. Reilly is there, and then Brendan Gleeson is also there.
Okay.
I'm very excited to see my adult man character actors who I love.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Melissa, you and I also went to go see a movie this weekend.
Separately, yes, we did.
Yes. We went to go see A Haunting in Venice. This is one that I think you and I are the only people that I know who were excited for this movie.
Kenneth Branagh's friends and family.
Yeah, sure. Right. I was so excited for this movie. I remember when we saw the trailer drop, and I just thought, oh, like this looks interesting. There's some actors in there that I like, and then all of a sudden, it's a Hercule Poirot movie. Oh my god,
that's our guy.
Yeah. So I was excited to go see that. I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. Not my favorite of the bunch.
Which is your favorite of the bunch?
My favorite is the original, Murder on the Orient Express. I loved that one. I thought it was fantastic. This is my second favorite one, and I don't like Death on the Nile. Something about that first one and the trailer that it had. That trailer was so good with just like the neon text on. I still think about that trailer.
I also still think about that often. I'm like, how does this movie, the Imagine Dragons song and the neon lettering go together to form something that feels cohesive to me that I still think of 6 years later?
I don't even really like Imagine Dragons. There's just something about that trailer was like, this looks cool. I'm going to go see that. And I did, and I loved it. But yeah, Death on the Nile, I just kind of thought was boring. I didn't get really much out of that. And then I thought, because that one came out during the pandemic and it was on Max, and it just, I just kind of felt like, well, I guess that's kind of it for the Hercule Poirot movies, because they didn't really set up a third one, really. And I don't think that one did all that great. So I don't know. So yeah, I was so surprised when it's like, here's a third one. And it has a horror twist. And I was like,
yeah,
that's cool. I like that. That speaks to me. But
I need everyone. I need more. And I need everyone to have a bit of a genre bent to it. One's very romantic. One's a war story. One's sci-fi speculative fiction. One's an outright like farcical comedy. I need a Poirot of every stripe. I had a good time. I did think this was effective at the horror turn. There's fun surprises in it. I always have a good time with these. It's sort of a puzzling franchise, and that I've only seen each of them once. I've never had a great sense to rewatch any of the previous ones, but if they were on, I'd 100% like sit down and like finish the thing. Like if I was the sort of person who traveled more, these would be like an airplane movie for me probably. And you're right that they're like good. We are far more excited for each one than the quality of each movie is, but we don't care. We're so happy to have them. Put it on us. It'll be a fine time. It's like a 7, but that 7 is so deeply valuable. More than like greater movies. 7,
yeah.
Yes,
and
a very precious
they're
7.
All kind of a 7, even though I don't like Death on the Nile that much. I thought it was slow and all that stuff. It's like, well, at the end of the day, it's like a 7, but also I really like Murder on the Orient Express, and it's a 7, right? Like, but like that's the thing is I like mysteries. I like detective fiction, and we don't really get many movies like this. We have these 3. We have the 2 like Knives Out and Glass Onion, the Benoit Blanc, and to be honest, they kind of struck gold with their formula in a way that these ones haven't. And I don't need these Hercule Poirot ones to be more like that, but there also are some things that like Benoit Blanc and Hercule Poirot are both just kind of weird dudes, like weird, ridiculous dude, like in their like
very particular, very well dressed.
Right, but like I kind of want a little more comedy in the Hercule Poirot stuff, and it has its moments. Yeah, but I don't need it to go like I just need it just a step up, right? I don't need it to go full on like I'm in the bath with on a Zoom call with all of these people, like all of the mystery people are celebrities and stuff.
I want the next time in Knives Out 3, whatever that one is. I want him to have another Zoom call.
Poirot.
Please, if I want a crossover between these two. Hercule Poirot is in the public domain, probably. You can put him anywhere.
Could the next Benoit Blanc movie be held at a cosplay convention where everyone is dressed up as like a famous detective? So we have Sherlock Holmes there. We have
Perry
Poirot.
Mason.
We have real life man Perry Mason. Not
everybody's here. Bosch, Poker Face,
right?
All our
we
friends,
have
Murder
Scooby and the
Rock.
gang.
Every detective.
But how funny would that be if they're like he has to solve a mystery in front of all of these people impersonating detectives? That'd be good.
I'd like to know if in Knives Out 3, what Benoit Blanc 3, I don't know what to call the thing.
Because he's been on record saying like I didn't like that they tried to call it Knives Out or Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery.
Right. I would love if in that world Benoit Blanc has become a recognizable enough figure. Like if people are writing him letters saying solve my mystery, there's got to be somebody out there dressed like him. Right. He's a TikTok trend. College kids dressing up as Benoit Blanc. I love detectives, and I'm happy we've got detectives out there for us to go enjoy in the cinema. A Haunting in Venice, a good time. really effective in the theater. I saw this. It's so funny to me that because of the slower time of year that this movie came out, it is on every mega screen, ultra screen, like theater in my area. It's the big show. This quiet little movie set in one house.
Yep.
But I did go see it in like the Alamo Drafthouse's biggest theater. And the sound system in there was so effective when you get these like ghostly little whispers. At first, I didn't know it was part of the movie. I'm like, is there a kid a couple rows behind me? No, like I was in such a big space that the sound could really travel. Like if the sound was on either end of the theater, like you could really feel it. And that was really incredible. I thought I was very happy I picked that specific showing to go to.
That's cool. Yeah. Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. I thought the horror was done very, very well.
Yeah.
Again, kind of wished there was a little bit more comedy just to the general formula of the Hercule Poirot stuff. I loved the scene where his bodyguard like knocked the guy off into the water. Fantastic. Tina Fey is in this one, so I was expecting like some more comedy chops, but she plays a much more serious role in this, which she is certainly capable of. But yeah, it was a very like I don't want to say somber. I feel like that's too harsh, but like it is serious in its demeanor. It is thinking about thoughts of like, does the supernatural exist? Is there life after death? Is religion worth something looking into? Right, like it starts to ask those kind of questions, which is I thought was interesting and done smartly.
My favorite part of this movie, it's set in 1947. It's in post-war Venice. And two of the characters we encounter are these siblings from Hungary who met some American GIs who were traveling through the area. And the American GIs had like a bed sheet they would string up and like the first reel of the movie Meet Me in St. Louis. And these two siblings have watched that movie so many times. They're in love with it. They're like, this is where we got to go. We need to get out of here and go to St. Louis, which between this and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, I'm very happy that there have been two movies this year where the correct answer to a character's problem is, you know what you got to do to get your life on track? Go to Missouri. Right? Yeah. Like, yes. Join me. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. So good stuff. Good stuff. I had a good time. For sure. For sure. Before we do our housekeeping break, I want to bring the soda stuff back into full circle. Let me see if I have this here. Okay, there it is. Reddit.com. So after I bought this Mountain Dew VooDew mystery flavor thing, I happened to see that Fanta also has a mystery flavor out. Now, I saw this on the internet. I haven't seen this in stores yet. I am going to try and look for one to see if I can find it. But immediately I was like, okay, well, what stores should I go to? And I looked up like, where can I buy all of this stuff? And I saw people posting about it. I saw YouTube videos. I saw even like an official blog post on the like Coca-Cola website that it is out now in stores. And literally none of them said what stores. Like, can I get this at Target? Or no, is it exclusively at Walmart? I don't know. Like,
put in the shoe leather. Go. This is your time for you to be a detective.
Right,
until
it really is.
Knives Out 3 is about Benoit Blanc trying to untangle a mystery flavor. You're going to have to do it yourself.
Absolutely. But like, that's the thing. The official Coca-Cola thing didn't say I saw like a news post, like a CNN news thing, didn't say like what stores you could get it at. All of this stuff of just like, no, why is no one mentioning where you can get this? Is this like a taboo, like forbidden? You have to go to the black market to
you have to solve a code
mystery flavor, right? Yeah,
you have to turn the website upside down. Look at it under a black light.
In my like very quick internet sleuthing that failed miserably, I stumbled upon this Reddit post that I need to read out on here. This is amazing. This the title for the post is "Warning for the Black Mystery Flavor Fanta." The user is outside-decision 3849. It says, "Trigger warning. Pee pee poo poo."
Oh no! What?
Last night, I tried it. Didn't like it. Though it tasted like great medicine or something. This isn't even close to the issue, though. The problem with this drink started a few hours after drinking half the bottle. I couldn't finish it. I really didn't like it. I noticed I was super gassy. My stomach was hurting pretty bad, and overall, I just felt like crap. But I didn't even think it was related to the soda. Fast forward to this morning, and my stomach is hurting super bad. I go to the bathroom and take a dump, but still feel crappy. Get out and eat my breakfast and drink my coffee. And then I feel this, all caps, massive bowel movement and run back to the bathroom. It seemed to last forever and wouldn't stop. But then when it was finally over, I turned back to flush. ... Guys. ... When I tell you the inside of the toilet was black, I mean, all caps, black. I was staring into a dark abyss. Couldn't even see anything in the toilet. All caps, do not drink the Black Fanta. And then it's just comment after comment of like, might want to go see a doctor about that, my guy. Dark black stool combined with stomach pain indicates internal bleeding. Like, can also be symptoms of this, but then a lot of people being like, yeah, I didn't really like the flavor, or like, I thought it was fine. But the original poster is like super active in there, like commenting on everything. I just thought it was really funny. That's all. Do you remember that part in House of Leaves, the novel House of Leaves, where Johnny Truant knocks over all of the tattoo ink, all the black tattoo ink, and he looks down at his hands covered in ink and they just disappear into the floor beneath them like he doesn't even have hands? Fanta Black. It's Fanta Black.
Fanta Black, it's tattoo flavored.
Right, yeah. God, so yeah, I am looking to see if I can find this Fanta mystery flavor. But I did see a YouTube video of someone pouring it out, and yeah, it is black. Like it's not like dark purple. It's black, which is interesting. So who knows? Maybe in the next week or two here, I'll have some Fanta mystery flavor, and then hopefully won't get sick.
Fanta absorbs all light. Fanta negative space.
Exactly. Cool. Well, with that, I say we take a quick break for some housekeeping, and then when we get back, we'll dive into the second half of the show here. We'll be right back. Here at the Whatnauts, we make multiple different shows, and a lot of hard work goes into making them, so we would love it if you check them all out. If you enjoy our shows, patreon.com/the Whatnauts is the best place to show your support. For just $1 a month, you can get early access to episodes, and at our $3 tier, a Patreon exclusive podcast, The Pilots Club. You can even get a shout out and thank you on most of our shows at the $5 tier. And if you're one of our patrons already, thank you so much. It means the world to us. You can find out more information on our website, thewhatnauts.com, as well as your favorite podcasting platform of choice. When you type in The Whatnauts, all of our shows will pop up right there. Just don't forget to give us a nice rating and review if you like the shows. You can also find us on YouTube and Twitch for video versions of the shows, trailer reactions, and live streams. And lastly, we have merch. If you want to grab yourself a shirt or a hoodie or a mug or something else, head over to thewhatnauts.com/store to pick up some merch today. And we are back. Thank you so much to our Patreon supporters.
Thank you.
It means a lot. It means a ton. Over on Patreon for the Pilots Club this month, we got to talk about the first episode of Winning Time, Rise of the Lakers Dynasty. We had a blast talking about that one, a lot in that show that we were not expecting. Now one that is much higher up on my radar than it previously had been, of like, that's a show that I want to go back to for sure. Unfortunately, I did hear this week that it is not being renewed for a season 3, which I don't know how or where the story ends up by the end of season 2, but
difficult to evaluate whether a season 3 is needed or not when you've seen only season 1, episode 1. I don't have feelings about this.
But the way it was, like, it was kind of those things. Not renewed for season 3 sounds kind of like, well, I guess it didn't really end on like, and that's the end of the show, or could be if we don't get renewed. But it was just like, I don't know. Will they beat Larry Bird and the Celtics for the championship the next year? Who knows? Find out in real history.
I've never been renewed for a season 3 either. And I'm just fine.
You're on season 33.
I have a birthday cake this year that's just picked up for another season.
Honestly? It's kind of right. But Melissa, do you want to give everyone a heads up of what we will be talking about on the Pilots Club for the month of October?
For October, we are talking about The Amazing Screw-On Head. This is a animated pilot based off of a Mike Mignola comic, creator of Hellboy, animated in that recognizable comic book style. Amazing Screw-On Head is like an android guy whose head can like screw on and off to different bodies, and this is how he gets into different scenes and does different secret agent stuff. I have seen this, but it's been a long time and I don't totally remember what happens, but it's been something I've been wanting to do ever since we conceived of the Pilots Club.
Interesting. Yeah, well, October will be a perfect month for that because, of course, it's spooky month, which on the review show, all October, it's going to be all spooky month. We're also already covering Hellboy for our end of the month specials over on the review show. So lots of Mignola happening this next month here. But speaking of the review show, our most recent episode was on a movie called Sideways from 2005, I believe. All about wine. We had accidental back-to-back Paul Giamatti in I got to, so we did Shame-Tember, what we call Shame-Tember over on the review show, where we pick different movies that are on our list of shame for one reason or another. And since it was also hip hop's 50th anniversary this year, I picked Straight Out of Compton, which stars Paul Giamatti, and then Melissa pitched Sideways, also starring Paul Giamatti. So
it's his year.
It is the year of the Giamatti. But that was an interesting movie for sure. It was all about wine. These two guys go spend like a bachelor party weekend up in wine country, and chaos ensues, and there's lots of metaphors about life and wine in that. So go check that one out. We had a blast talking about that. But then right here on the Captain's Log, this past week, so technically last week we didn't do an episode. We took the week off. It was originally postponed, and then I got sick. Melissa was sick, so we were just like, we're just gonna take the week off. But the week before that, speed beef. Would you eat caffeinated food? I think so. I think it's the next big thing.
Have you yet tried to go to a restaurant and order a decaf burger to see what they do?
I'd like a decaf cheeseburger. I feel like they would bring me a burger and decaf. That's just what they would do. They thought I like mashed it into one, and then how about if I like stopped them and like made them watch as I pour the coffee on the burger? And then
that's criminal. Oh, coffee burger, no.
Anyways, that's about it right now for housekeeping. So yeah.
I want that to be, speaking of detectives, as I've found that we often do, perhaps this is a sign of aging. The older you get year by year, you're more into detectives. But I want that to be some TV detectives, like little quirk that they have. You've seen a guy like dunk a donut in a coffee. I want a TV detective that dunks everything in a cup of hot coffee. I'm dunking my burger in here.
We already have that. It's the observers in Fringe. They would just dump they were hot sauce. They just like give you everything hot and they'll put that on. But in the
they
same
crave flavor
manner that it's just like, I don't care what it is. If it's hot, if it's spicy, I'm eating it in one thing. But man, let's see. As we're getting older, Batman Day happened. What did you do to celebrate Batman Day, Melissa?
This is at least the second time you've done this, where you ask me after the fact what I have done for Batman Day. You have to start telling me ahead of time, and then I'll do something.
Holiday, Melissa.
It's not on my calendar. I don't get to take off work for it. You have to tell me next year. Next year, you tell me beforehand, and I assure you, I will do something. I'll wear a string of pearls that day. I'll go see the Mask of Zorro.
I was hoping for some kind of reaction like that, because I too did not know that it was Batman Day until like the day after. And was just like, oh, okay. Well, I guess yesterday was Batman Day. But yeah, I did not do anything to celebrate Batman Day. It's not a holiday.
I imagine you 40 years from now passive aggressively calling your children, upset at them because they didn't call.
What did you do for Batman Day this year?
It's like it's just calling a kid because you didn't have the decency to pick up the phone for 5 minutes and talk to your old man on Batman Day.
You know, you should appreciate your parents more because you know who didn't have them? Speaking of DC Comics, did you happen to see the Aquaman 2 trailer?
I did see it.
What'd you think?
Looks fun.
Now,
looks like kind of what I was expecting. I don't know.
Okay. Did you watch Aquaman 1? Have you seen that one?
I've seen bits of it, but I have not yet seen the entire thing. I missed it somehow when it first came out. I don't know. And I told myself, I do want to see this. I'll watch it once it is immediately relevant. And we are entering its period of immediate relevancy. So I will see it in the next like 2 months or whatever for sure.
Sure. Yeah, I didn't go see it right away. I caught it on Max one night while I was building a Gundam model. So I was paying attention, but also like looking for the right parts and stuff like that. I thought it was okay. It was better than I expected, but not great either. I love Black Manta, though. That he is like the highlight of this. And I think they knew that because they were like, we're going to like up him to like main villain status in this next one. But I have to say, I did not really like the trailer. I don't know. Something felt like it was just like all over the place. I
imagine the film will feel as such. I really had no idea what to expect or what to compare it to. I was just happy it had a trailer, that it was real. It's been this weird like shadow of a movie for so long. Right. Regardless of the quality of a finished motion picture, I want every motion picture to cross the finish line and get like actually released and stop being vaporware.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that one.
I'll see it. I'll be there.
Strange trailer.
Wet.
But Melissa, yes, you have been getting into some kind of fantasy league draft movie thing. Tell me all about this.
I have been listening to a podcast called This Had Oscar Buzz, where the two hosts look at movies from the past that people thought in the run up to the Academy Awards were sure to get a nomination, but got zilch. And they go back and they look at these movies like, what were the promises of this thing? What happened? Should it have gotten in the Oscar race? What does it look like in the film landscape now? It's been pretty fun, pretty educational. And at least one of them, I think, writes for Vulture. And they linked to a Vulture movie fantasy league that they're running, which runs from, you have to have your drafts in by the 28th. So it runs from September 28th all the way through the Oscars in early March of next year. You get $100 fictional dollars. It costs no actual real money to enter this thing. You have $100 fictional dollars to draft 8 movies of varying prices. And then for movies that have yet to come out this year, you get a certain amount of points based on their box office performance. You get points based on the Rotten Tomatoes score. And for all these movies, you get points based on how it does in awards. Not just like the Oscars and the Golden Globes, but like 15 different really specific voting bodies, like the Los Angeles Film Critics Circle, the New York Film Critics Circle, AARP Movies for Grown-Ups Award. You have points for a nomination, different
Melissa's
points for a win.
Nasty movies for men.
Nasty movies for men for girls. So yes, I have gotten, last week when I took a day off work because I was feeling cruddy, before I laid down and took a deep, nourishing nap, I sat down here at my computer. I opened up Google Docs, Google Sheets. I made a recreational spreadsheet to track this thing. I've gotten 2 tabs deep. I have formulas. Like, I'm not going into work today. I've different work I have to do. And it's this. I've crunched so many numbers. I think this is what other people use video games and card games for, is I have this now.
Yes, absolutely. I've been just as a side note, I've been playing Starfield a lot recently, and you can get lost in so many different systems and side coes and all that stuff, they specifically allow you to build outposts where you can mine resources, and then you can send your resources to other outposts that you've created on other planets and stuff like that. So I've been getting lost in that of like, how do I make a functioning economy where I can just have all the resources sent to one location and use those to make me money? How do I do that? So that sounds a lot like what you're up to over here. Okay, spreadsheets. How do I win this fantasy draft here?
I certainly don't expect myself to win. This goes all the way through like little like film festival movies. Like I don't know very much. I'm not at the Toronto International Film Festival. I don't know what documentaries have got buzz about them going into this awards season. I'm just listening to a lot of podcasts and reading a lot of articles and doing the best I can. My hope is to maybe do the best out of my little mini league among friends. Not to introduce competition, but I am taking this very seriously now. My dad once entered a chili cook-off at his office. He got second place. And he was so determined to get first place that he bought his own meat grinder to grind the meat for chili to his exact specifications. Amazing. And every weekend for like 2 months leading up to this cook-off, he like made a pot of chili and my brother and I had to eat it and give him feedback. So like that blood runs through my veins and I use it on this now.
That is such a dad move. I'm just like, I'm going to buy a meat grinder and make the ultimate bowl of chili.
He still has it. I don't remember the last time he ground a meat. I'm going to have to check in with him. You doing any meat grinding lately? Did you get a return on your investment? And I think he did win the chili cook-off, but that's like what? Like a $30 gift card? I don't know what he got out of it.
He got a meat grinder out of it. Yeah. He has two.
He got the allowance to buy himself a meat grinder.
Yeah.
But also, I know you were not this same type of movies nerd as I am, but I extended the invitation to you if you would like to draft a team. I'd like to see you pick draftees at random based on what you think the name of it means.
Yeah. Based on what actor I would cast based off the title.
Tell me what you think the movie Saltburn is about.
I've actually seen one trailer for that one.
I also got a trailer for that in front of a haunting in Venice. That was particularly exciting.
I have no idea what Saltburn is. But yeah, that's neat. I don't think I will join, at least this time around. But that is when we did our video game podcast Crossplay, we did something very similar to that. We did a video game fantasy draft. And yeah, we each represented a fictional publisher, and we had to pick what games we would publish. And then, yeah, based on their score, according to, I think, opencritic.com, we would get certain points. But it would, like, the points you got was like if like any score above 60 gets you at least 1 point. But if it's above 80, you get 2. And if it's above 90, you get 3.
That's kind of how this goes.
Yeah. And then they also had like this thing where you could make a counter pick to someone. So if I picked Saltburn on my list, because maybe I like the director or something like that, you could, and I thought that movie was going to do good, you could bet against it and be like, hey, my counter pick is Saltburn. I think that one's gonna do bad. And if it was kind of like the opposite of like, if it gets above a 60, the regular person gets points, but if it does not get above that or something like that, then you get the points instead. So that stuff was neat. But that's fun though.
I listen to another podcast that does a summer box office wager where in like April or May of every year, they make a list of every movie that comes out between like, I think it's like May to Labor Day is what they call summer box office. Like this year, I think the season started with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 and ended with Gran Turismo, whatever came out right at the end of summer. Sure. And they had to they had just placed them like 1 through 10, how they thought the summer box office was going to go. And then at the end of the summer, realized everybody underestimated Barbie and nobody even got close.
Wow.
So there's a lot of different ways to gamify movies. Oh, I'm not going to get into any real literal games. Every year I'm committed to learning like 1% more about football than I knew before, but I'm never going to get into it. Instead, I'm going to take football style sub-meta games and apply them to this stuff.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, I mean, we have our Rotten Tomatoes movie game. We could even almost do something like that where we have to make a pick of 3 movies and see like at the end of the year who like when you add up the scores for those 3 movies, who between you and me had the higher score of that one.
Draft a fantasy team,
right? But those episodes do usually take us quite a bit to go through all the stuff from the year before and then do the ones from the upcoming year and then do our like bets, like I bet there's gonna be a new James Bond song by this artist, right?
That would be nice.
Bets and stuff like that. But yeah, there's all sorts of things that even we could somehow incorporate into our Rotten Tomatoes movie predictions games. We could even do something like betting on which of these movies has the most number of reviews on them. Like this one got reviewed like 37 times. I don't know. I'm just thinking of fun things we could do.
We can gamify this in some way. Yeah. Which movie do you think is going to get the next like Gentle Minions or Barbie core type theatrical dress up meme?
Yeah. Something like that.
I'm looking back at our Rotten Tomatoes predictions we made for this year of movies, and mine just say great mustache and cabin is important.
Yep. Rachel is in the chat and says best dino movie. Which movie is going to have the best dinosaurs in them?
Oh man,
was that best Adam Driver 165 or something like that? Probably that one.
Probably. I don't know if there's a movie. Well, in like the Transformers Beast Wars, I don't know if any of them are dinosaurs. I don't know if they are purely beasts like lions and stuff. I don't know if there's a dinosaur in there.
I mean, it would be like it would be like, because I think they're aliens technically, right?
I don't want to.
They're sentient robot. Like that's what because we did read that one Transformers comic way back in the day.
That's kind of as much as I want to know about Transformers. No offense to Transformers. I really admire what it means to people. But like, I have to not know something about something. So I've got room in my brain to min-max my Oscar predictions. And that includes not knowing where Transformers are from.
Until Transformers has that like sneaky sneaky hit that all of a sudden like is an Oscar winning movie.
Optimus Prime is there in a little bow tie at the ceremony presenting an award.
And the best robot goes to
Best robot. We should give out more awards like that. Best robot, best mustache, most hats.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. I don't know if I have much else to talk about this week.
I watched another wild movie I wanted to tell you about.
Okay. Tell me about it.
Have you ever heard of the alien horror movie Fire in the Sky?
No, I have not.
I had heard rumblings that this movie was secretly very scary. One of the scariest in the alien subgenre of horror movies. Alien abduction horror movies. This isn't like...
Sure, it's that and Ridley Signs, and then that's it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it isn't like the xenomorph alien sort of a horror movie, you know? And I'd been wanting to see it, and finally it landed on Max. Like, good, I don't have to pay to rent this thing.
Yeah.
The movie is from 1993, and it is based off of a true story. So it takes place back in like the late 70s, I think, or early 80s. And it's about these guys who are on like a logging crew in like northern Arizona somewhere. And one of them, they see like a mysterious red light, like a fire in the sky. And one of them gets out of the truck and goes to look at it. And then like a light shoots out of the ship or whatever it is, and he falls over to the ground, and they think he's dead, and they're all freaking out, and they drive away. And when they try and drive back to go get him, he's gone. What really surprised me, I thought this was an alien abduction horror movie, and it kind of is, but most of the movie is just this small town interpersonal drama where everybody in the town is like, you guys told us this wild story, and we go back to this forest the next morning, and your buddy is nowhere to be found. Like, there's no way he got abducted by aliens. Like, you guys killed him, right? Or he died in some accident, and you guys are just trying to cover it up. So it's about the search for that guy, the paranoia in the town, like everybody just looking at these remaining loggers like, you guys had something to do with this. We don't know why you're lying and making up this alien story. And they're like, we're telling you the truth. This is what really happened to him.
Yeah.
So it's just about their social standing and their little community just falling apart. That's really it. It's a small town drama. Fire in the Sky is. But then the guy who was abducted shows back up again. He just shows up naked at like a truck stop some miles away. And
like one does.
They bring him back into town. They get him looked at. They try and get him like, all right, well, you're out of the hospital. They said everything was fine. Let's go back home. Like, everybody's coming over for a party. They were so excited to see you. You were gone for a couple days. And this guy's sort of like real checked out and glassy and like not super present. And he's like, I don't know what happened to me. I don't remember. I just feel weird. And like something at the party triggers him to remember what his abduction experience is like. And the movie goes into this 20-minute like alien abduction flashback sequence. And I think this is what everybody's been talking about, is this sequence, which is so unnerving and eerie. This finally I got here. Like, I spent the whole movie being not really underwhelmed, but just like, oh, this movie isn't really what I thought it was. I thought it was something else. Until I get to this final set piece, which is like incredible alien designs. I think I remembered them vaguely. Like, I saw them in that Industrial Light and Magic documentary series on Disney Plus, and had no idea what it was until I saw this movie.
Gotcha.
It makes me want to make a list of movies that are mostly normal except for one part, because this might be the king of those. There's other movies that are continuously weird and have hot peaks and valleys of the weirdness, or movies that suddenly take a turn and become something else. But this is like small town social drama, alien nightmare, small town social drama. Just sandwiched there at like 100 minutes in, you get this thing. I really recommend that you check this out. It's a wild ride of an experience getting to just the viscousness, like the texture, the sensory environment that is this alien ship that the guy wakes up in, where he's in some sort of like a flesh shelf, and he has to crawl out of the flesh shelf, and then the gravity's not working, and he's like flying around. And then the aliens grab him and just drag him, and they've collected like all of this detritus from Earth from all their visits over the year, I guess. And everything's so dusty. I've never seen a spaceship full of dust before. Like, there's stuff in this that even if this movie is 30 years old, I'm like, I've never seen any of this before. Their movies since have not reached the level of Fire in the Sky.
Even just based off your quick descriptions here, like in my mind, I'm even still picturing the like H.E. Giger, I think that's his name, right? The one who did the like alien
really Giger
design, right? Yeah. But he has such a like visceral look and feel to the way he designs like alien and alien civilizations. It's often very phallic and like covered in mucus and goo and stuff like that. Like that's the like gross kind of alien that I think about, but dusty is not the word that I think of.
Like the ship is so textural. There are like gross fleshy parts, and there's also like a dusty hallway. And the aliens are more like, they're not like the traditional gray, but they're not that far off from it. They're nowhere near Gigarian.
I gotcha.
I just wanted to highlight to you this real unusual case in sci-fi film history.
Good stuff. Well, thank you. Thank you for the recommendation.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It is starting to be spooky season, so
right. Good what are you going to watch?
Those stuff. I don't know. We have a tradition of watching Over the Garden Wall every
that's
Halloween,
nice.
Which is a favorite of mine. That one is fantastic. If you haven't seen it, what are you doing with your life? Go watch Over the Garden Wall. But I don't know. I mean, I mean, obviously we're starting horror month over on the review show as well. We're going to get into some stuff with that. I don't know. There's been one show on my mind that I've been curious about just because of, it's like, wait, how does that already on like season 4? And I didn't even like, I barely even know this exists. It's that show Evil. I think on Paramount.
Oh, Plus. Yeah.
It's already on like season 4 or 5. And it is like like some kind of like horror show.
I
have no
Michael
idea
Emerson.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. The guy that played Luke Cage is in it too. But yeah, I don't really know anything about it or what's it about, except it's supposed to be a horror show. I don't know, but that's just where one of those things where it's like Paramount Plus doesn't really have that much content unless you like Star Trek. And beyond that, it's like they don't have much. So then, boom, here's this, and it's 4 seasons. It's just like, whoa.
You find some surprising movies on there. I think if you go to their movie section, I do remember there being a good amount of horror in there. They had a decent like horror category. Yeah. Hulu's also good for having a lot of horror movies on it.
They have the partnership with Blumhouse or something.
But even like beyond that, last year I went wandering deep into the bowels of Hulu's Huluween section, and I found a movie called Super Dark Times.
Okay. Super Dark Times.
Check it out. Check it out, please.
Okay, just tell you on like you should only know the title.
No, you can know more. You can know more. It is about these teen boys in the 90s in like a small town like northern Minnesota or something. And it's teen boys getting up to like just teen boy nonsense. And then there's like a terrible accident. And then they have to learn to deal with that. And it's about like what the accident is and how they deal with it.
Okay.
And the movie's gorgeous. This thing is shot so beautifully. It's such an eerie, dreamy time.
That's cool. I'll have to look it up and see.
Yeah. I do like digging around and finding a movie I've never heard of and I can take a chance on knowing zero things about it. That's how I got to my beloved Vivarium the first time. Sometimes that really pays off, blindly clicking on something in the depths of a streaming service.
Sometimes it's
or screaming service, as the case might be.
I think the only other thing, I don't know if I'll get to it this kind of spooky season or not, but going back to Twin Peaks, I love that show a lot, but I've never seen that more like recent revival season, which I've heard great things about. But I don't know if I'll get there or not. Who knows? We'll see. You know me, I am not a scary movie person.
Man, I'm all the scary.
Like I can do certain scary things, especially if it's like it's a crime show with like some scary like horror twists on and stuff. It's like, all right, cool, great. It's a sci-fi story with some horror stuff mixed in. It's like, all right, cool, sweet. But if it's like straight up, this is a horror movie, I'm like, is there nothing else mixed in? Can I latch on to something else, please?
What will be solved by the end of the horror movie?
Right, exactly.
I think you might like the Scream movies because unlike other major horror franchises like Freddy Krueger's Freddy Krueger, the Michael Myers is Michael Myers. There's a different ghost face in every Scream movie. Mm-hmm. Every movie is its own mystery for who is the killer this time. And they're all in one continuity together and they all build on each other. So, and they're all pretty consistent in quality because of the meta nature of the story being about horror movies and being self-aware of horror movies. Like, the sequel is really about being a sequel. The third movie is really about being the third movie in a trilogy. Then the fourth movie is really about being a reboot. Like each of them are really distinct from each other and really take the opportunity to do things that the other movies in the series couldn't do.
28th one is about being in competition with Land Before Time. And right.
I want there to be that many Screams, please. Screams are very fun.
Yeah, that sounds more up my alley for sure. So,
speaking of the last two Scream movies were directed by the team that directed Ready or Not. Okay, remember we watched that on the review show with the board game family? And the next Scream movie is supposed to be directed by the person who did Happy Death Day and Happy Death Day
those
to
ones
You.
I loved those ones. I still hope
you're going to get some
third one.
He's making Scream 7 instead, but I think Scream's going to have some of the same flavor you were looking for in a Happy Death Day.
Okay, interesting. Well, with that, I say we wrap things up right there for this week's podcast. Melissa, where can the people find you on the internet?
I do still have accounts at the sites having been known as Twitter and Instagram, both under Wilkywit, WILKYWIT. And I have another podcast, hasn't been updated in a while, but you can still listen to Saturday Morning Obscurities.
There you go. If you guys want to follow me, I am at Yo Kyle Springer on most of the social media places. If you want to stay up to date with all of the stuff that we do here at the Whatnauts, we are at the Whatnauts on most of the social media places. If we're not at the Whatnauts, we are at the Whatnauts Official. are watching this on YouTube, we have plenty more videos right over there for you to check out. So please go like, share, and subscribe. That would help us out a ton. And yeah, this has been the Palindromatic episode 252 of the Whatnauts Captain's Log. We will see